Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Beeline to Victory podcast. Um, we're going to get right into it by talking about my podcast being accepted to Apple Podcasts. You can find me at Beeline to Victory on Apple Podcasts, and I will try to have this video up there probably in the next day or two. So, today we're going to start with the Michigan basketball schedule. I'll briefly go over that, just some big games and the opener. A quick overview of the actual AP Top 25, my reactions, and then just the essentials for the game against Notre Dame next week. Towards the end of the week, we'll have a special just going over the keys, score prediction, all that for the Notre Dame game. So, the Michigan basketball schedule was released today. They got a couple cupcakes to start the game, to start the year. They open up against Norfolk, I don't know, something like that, and that's in Michigan. It's a Division II team, so that's a cupcake game to start the year. They also play Holy Cross in the first few games at home. Some big games, though. They will have a national title rematch against Villanova at Pauley Pavilion in Philadelphia. So I'm very, very excited for that game. Like to see how Beeline gets them ready to play a team like that, and really play a team like North Carolina too. Just a week after in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, that's going to be very fun to watch. And then obviously you have the Ohio State, Michigan State games in the conference. They play Michigan State the last game of the season in East Lansing. My prediction, you can book it right now. That game will decide who gets the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament and will decide who wins the regular season title for the Big Ten. Purdue, I think, is going to fall off this year. Wisconsin might be okay, but I'm not going to include those guys in here. It's Michigan. It's Michigan State. That's a top tier. Ohio State is also very good, and they're obviously a rival, so I kept them in there. We could also play Providence. There is a tournament we're playing. I know we're playing George Washington the first game. It has to work out where we both win or both lose or something. Could play Providence. They're a very, very good team. Top 25 team. Top 2 team in the Big East probably this year. They're going to be very good. So that's just a quick overview. I'm expecting a lot from this team this season. They return a lot of guys. They did lose the 2 best players, but they return a lot of guys. Matthews is in contention for Big Ten Player of the Year. Poole, I hope, will make a big step. Simpson as well. So hopefully they'll do what they need to do when the time comes. But it is football season. So we will react to the AP Top 25. They came out with Alabama at number 1, no surprise. The Big Ten teams, there were 5 of them ranked. Wisconsin was 4, Ohio State 5, Penn State 10, Michigan State 11, and Michigan at 14. So I did have Michigan at 5. I'm not. I think there are a few spots too low. I was expecting them to put them at 10 or 11. I think there are a few spots too low, but that whatever. Everybody's a few spots too low or high. What I don't get though is why Penn State especially is above them. The other 3 teams I can see why they would put them above them. Penn State, I just don't get it. They lost a lot of people from last year. They're clearly the 5th best team in the conference in my mind. I just don't get it. Another thing that really, really surprised me is why Wisconsin is the number 4 team in the country. Now, this just makes no sense. It is massive disrespect to Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State, who I think Wisconsin is worse than. All those guys. They don't have the talent to make the playoff. They don't have the strength of schedule to make the playoff. They have to run the table because they don't play anybody in their division and they refuse to schedule good out of conference games. Wisconsin should not be ranked number 4. That is a travesty to these other Big Ten teams and to the teams below Wisconsin. Other overrated teams, obviously Washington is extremely overrated. They're number 6 in the country. Are you kidding me? Give me a break. That's ridiculous. And Notre Dame's overrated too. They're number 12. They're ahead of Michigan. Are you kidding me? That has to be some sort of joke. That's ridiculous. Michigan is still favored though to win that game. by Vegas. They are favored by 1 point at the moment. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. The other teams I had making the playoffs, I had Auburn at number 1. They are at number 8. So, I mean, that's not bad for them. I expected them to be right there. They're going to be good, though. They have the best quarterback in the country in my mind. So, can't sleep on them. No, I'm sorry. Auburn was number 9. Miami was number 8, who is another team I had in there. So, I mean, another overrated team. USC is at 15. Really? Really? They lost their quarterback, who, by the way, gave them 3 losses last year because he was a turnover machine. And how in the world are they at 15? Are you kidding me? And I still don't get why Texas is ranked. Texas, oh, they're the Dallas Cowboys of football. It's perfect because they're in Texas. They might be the biggest brand in college football. They might be. They're right up there with Notre Dame, Michigan, and Alabama. But they're still ranked somehow. They're going from their first lost season. They're still ranked. Doesn't make any sense. But nonetheless, the AP did say who they thought was going to make the playoff, and they did have Michigan at 2. So I'll give them respect there. I don't think they did a great job in the poll, but I agree with them on their playoff prediction in that respect. So let's move on to the essentials. The game, obviously, in South Bend, College Game Day. For ESPN will be there in South Bend for that game. Might not even be the biggest game of the week because of Washington and Auburn, but that's being played at a neutral site. This game is in South Bend, a college town. Yesterday, Jim Harbaugh named Shea Patterson the starter, and he also today said Brandon Peters was the number 2, Dylan McCaffrey was 3, and Joe Milton was 4, which I don't really get at all. I don't understand why Brandon Peters would be the backup after what he put on in the last few games last season. Doesn't make any sense to me. And the game will be played on NBC September 1st at 7:30. They just got to get after it. If they play well, that's all. If they play well, they will win the game. They're a better team. They are a more talented team. They are. This may be the only game I might say this. They are better coached than Notre Dame. Brian Kelly is terrible. They are better coached. They should win this game. They should not have a problem winning this game. They cannot go out there and lay an egg against this team and ruin their season because they got a tough Big Ten schedule ahead of them. They have to win this game. So we'll get into more of that next week. Make sure, remember to find me on Apple Podcasts. And also on the Big 4 podcast, we have a video going up tonight. So that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week.